Imagine walking into a room full of successful people. Some are richer than you. Some are smarter than you. Some aren't. Yet somehow, one person quietly controls the entire conversation. People listen when they speak. Their opinions carry weight. Opportunities seem to find them. And without raising their voice, they influence everyone around them. Why? Is it confidence? Charisma? Luck? Or do they understand something that most people never notice? For more than 20 years, one controversial book has tried to answer that question. The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. Some people call it a masterpiece. Others call it dangerous. It's been recommended by CEOs, athletes, politicians, entrepreneurs, and artists. At the same time, it's been criticized for encouraging manipulation and ruthless behavior. So instead of asking whether every law should be followed, let's ask a better question. Why has this book become one of the most influential books ever written? Power isn't what most people think when people hear the word power. They often imagine kings, politicians, or billionaires. But power isn't only about money or authority. Power exists everywhere. At work, at school, inside families, among friends, even on social media. Every day, people compete for attention, respect, influence, trust. The strange part is, most of us are playing this game without realizing it. Robert Greene argues that history follows patterns. The technology changes, the clothing changes, but human nature barely changes at all. People still want status. Recognition, security, control, and understanding these patterns can help you avoid becoming someone else's pawn. Lesson 1. Never let your ego become your enemy. Imagine you've just been promoted. You're excited, confident, you finally feel like you've earned respect. Then something changes. You stop listening. You interrupt more often. You begin believing you're the smartest person in every room. Without noticing, your confidence quietly becomes arrogance. One of Greene's most famous ideas is simple. The moment your ego becomes bigger than your awareness, you're already becoming vulnerable. History is filled with powerful people who lost everything because they believed they were untouchable. Business leaders ignored warning signs. Kings underestimated their enemies. Athletes believed they could never lose. Success often creates the illusion that success will continue forever. But power doesn't disappear overnight. It slowly leaks away through pride. Real confidence doesn't need constant attention. It stays curious. It keeps learning. It knows that every person has something valuable to teach. The strongest people are often the ones who underestimate themselves just enough to keep improving. Lesson 2. Your reputation arrives before you do. Imagine two people applying for the same opportunity. One has average skills, but everyone describes them as reliable, honest, professional. The other might be more talented, but people aren't sure whether they can trust them. Who gets chosen? Most likely, the first person. Because reputation is often more valuable than raw ability. Greene calls reputation the cornerstone of power. Today, psychology agrees that first impressions influence how people interpret everything that follows. Once someone believes you're dependable, they notice evidence that confirms it. Once someone believes you're careless, even your good work may be overlooked. This doesn't mean pretending to be someone you're not. It means protecting your character every single day. Your reputation is like compound interest. Small actions repeated over years create enormous trust or enormous doubt. Long before people know your abilities, they know your reputation. Lesson 3. Why silence is more powerful than constant talking. Have you ever noticed that the most confident person in the room usually isn't the loudest? Many people believe power comes from saying more. Greene suggests the opposite. The more you speak, the more opportunities you give people to misunderstand you or discover your weaknesses. Think about skilled negotiators. They ask questions, then they listen. While everyone else rushes to fill the silence, they collect information. Silence creates mystery, and mystery often creates influence. This doesn't mean becoming cold or distant. It means speaking with purpose. not speaking simply because silence feels uncomfortable. The people who control conversations aren't always the ones talking. They're often the ones guiding others to reveal themselves first. Lesson 4. Never stop learning. Human nature technology changes every year. Human emotions don't. People still crave appreciation. They still fear rejection. They still compare themselves to others. Greene spent years studying generals, queens, philosophers, business leaders, not because history repeats exactly, but because people often repeat the same mistakes. The greatest advantage isn't knowing every strategy. It's understanding what motivates people. Why do they become jealous? Why do they seek approval? Why do they resist change? The more clearly you understand human behavior, the less likely you are to be manipulated by it. Power begins with awareness, not control. Awareness, so far, we've discovered something surprising. Power isn't about becoming feared. It's about understanding yourself, protecting your reputation, controlling your emotions, and learning how people really think. But these ideas only scratch the surface, because the greatest battles for power don't happen in public. They happen inside your own mind. And that's where Robert Greene's most important lessons begin. The most dangerous person is the one who can't control himself. Imagine two people in an argument. The first person immediately raises their voice. They become angry. They react without thinking. The second person stays calm. They listen carefully. They choose every word with intention. Who has more power? Most people think power comes from controlling others. But Robert Greene argues that real power begins by controlling yourself. History repeatedly shows the same pattern. Leaders weren't destroyed only by stronger enemies. Many were destroyed by their own emotions. Anger, pride, jealousy, impatience, these emotions cloud judgment. And poor judgment destroys even the most powerful people. Modern psychology supports this idea. Studies consistently show that emotional regulation leads to better decision-making, healthier relationships, and stronger leadership. In other words, the person who controls their emotions usually controls the outcome. Choose your battles carefully. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing they must respond to every insult, every criticism, every disagreement. But every battle costs energy, time, focus. Imagine carrying a backpack. Every unnecessary argument adds another heavy stone. Eventually, you become too exhausted to pursue what truly matters. Greene reminds us that powerful people don't react to everything. They decide what deserves their attention. Sometimes, walking away isn't weakness, it's strategy. Not every opinion deserves your response. Not every criticism deserves your emotions. Your attention is one of the most valuable resources you own. Spend it wisely. Influence is earned, not forced. Many people believe influence comes from authority. But think about the people you genuinely admire. Perhaps it was a teacher, a mentor, a parent, or a friend. Did they influence you through fear? Probably not. They earned your respect. Greene's book is often misunderstood as a guide to manipulating people. But manipulation rarely creates lasting success. Eventually, trust disappears. Relationships break. Reputations collapse. Real influence is different. It grows from consistency. Competence, integrity. When your actions repeatedly match your words, people naturally begin to trust your judgment. And trust is one of the strongest forms of power anyone can possess. What makes this book so controversial? This is where we need balance. Many readers love the 48 Laws of Power because it teaches them to recognize manipulation before becoming its victim. Others worry that some laws encourage deception and selfish behavior. The truth lies somewhere in the middle. Robert Greene doesn't ask readers to admire every historical figure he mentions. Instead, he examines history to show how power has often been gained, protected, and lost. That doesn't mean every strategy is ethical or appropriate. Understanding manipulation doesn't require practicing it. Just as learning self-defense doesn't mean looking for fights. The greatest value of this book may be awareness. Because once you recognize unhealthy patterns, they're much harder to use against you. Knowledge gives you choices. Wisdom helps you choose well. The real lesson isn't about controlling others. Many people finish this book believing it's about becoming powerful. But perhaps the deeper lesson is something else. Power isn't about making people fear you. It's about becoming someone who cannot easily be controlled. Someone who thinks independently. Someone who isn't manipulated by every opinion. Someone who stays calm under pressure. Someone who understands human nature without losing their own values. That's a very different kind of power, and it's far more difficult to achieve. A challenge for the next 7 days, for the next week: pay attention to your reactions, not other people's. Yours, notice when someone criticizes you. Notice when you feel the urge to argue. Notice when your ego wants to prove you're right. Before reacting, pause for 5 seconds. Ask yourself one question: am I responding with emotion or with purpose? You may be surprised how often silence is stronger than another argument, how often patience creates better results than anger, and how much energy you've been wasting on battles that never mattered. Small moments of self-control slowly become lasting strength. Final thoughts: more than 2 decades after its publication, The 48 Laws of Power remains one of the world's most discussed books. Not because every law should be copied, not because every historical example represents good leadership, but because it forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about human behavior. People seek influence. People protect their status. People respond to trust, confidence, and perception. Ignoring these realities doesn't make them disappear. Understanding them gives you the ability to navigate them wisely. Perhaps the greatest mistake isn't having too little power. Perhaps it's allowing your emotions, your ego, or other people's opinions to quietly control your life. Because the strongest people aren't always the loudest. They aren't always the richest, or the most famous. They're the ones who understand themselves first. And once you've mastered yourself, very little in the outside world can truly control you. If you enjoyed this documentary breakdown and want to discover more timeless lessons from the world's most influential books, subscribe to Beyond the Pages. Every week, we explore the ideas that have shaped successful people across history while separating lasting wisdom from myth. Until next time, keep learning, keep questioning, and keep turning the page.